Good morning, Statesville Middle. My name is Angel Dalton. I'm your assistant principal here. And we are going to get started in covering your handbook. We're going to start on page 2 where it says 2018-2019 operations. Your student hours are from 8:20 to 3:30. If you are a car rider, in the mornings you are to be dropped off at the front of the building on Clegg Street. If there is a bus, you should wait for your bus driver to give you the hand signals in the morning to cross in front of the bus. Bus drivers will be sure to look both ways as you cross. And once you are here at school, you should come and enter into the building. Now, if you are a car rider and you're dropped off in the mornings, you will not be able to enter the building until 7:30. And just as a side note, supervision will begin at 7:45. When you come in, you need to make a decision about breakfast or going into the gym. So if you go to breakfast, and once breakfast is over, you then head into the gym. We do not go to the gym and then decide that we are going to eat breakfast. When you do go to breakfast, as you enter through the breakfast line and come out with your food, you have a seat in a single file line just as you came through the line in breakfast. So you are sitting side by side next to the person that you were in line with. We're not sitting all spaced out in the cafeteria, and it is also your responsibility to make sure that you're cleaning up after yourself in the cafeteria. And just as a general rule about the cafeteria, all items that you are eating need to be eaten in the cafeteria. We can't afford for students to eat all across the building. It, for one, brings rodents and other insects into the building. Also at breakfast, socializing should be kept at a minimum. Remember, the reason that you're there is to eat. Now, releasing from the gym. You will be released from the gym at approximately 8 o'clock in the morning. And just like y'all have done for the past 2 days, everyone goes down the main hallways. The side doors on the outside will be locked. And one thing that we also need to keep in mind to keep hallways clear, I understand that you are back at school and you're happy to see your classmates and your friends, but we do need to keep the PDA or public displays of affection to a minimum. The stopping in the hallways to hug and talk and chit chat just clogs up the hallways. And when we get to the tardies, we will discuss more of that. From 8 o'clock to 8:20, that should be your sustained silent reading time before school actually begins, or during that time before the announcements. This is computer free time. Students will not read from your MacBooks or when you do get those privileges. You can come up to the media center or bring something from home to read. And then our plan is to have announcements done and ready to go by 8:20, even though it says announcements will start promptly at 8:20. And what we would ask for is your attention and attention to detail to those announcements, because there's a lot of information that you might need to hear so that you can relay the information when you return home. Expectations during class. Over the next couple of days, when I finish with the handbook, you will go through a series of lessons for our BARC matrix. And it basically means that Bulldogs are accountable, respectful, and kind. And the next couple of days in those lessons, you will learn how things are done here at Statesville Middle School. Lunch expectations. You should walk quietly in your line to and from the cafeteria. And I will say that everybody did a really good job yesterday. Other classes are in session, and so we would like to keep the noise levels down in the hallway. One thing that you do need to keep in mind is students who owe lunch fees will be added to a probation list where you cannot participate in certain events. So it would just be in your best interest to kind of stay on top of your lunch account. One thing also to keep in mind is that if you owe approximately 4 days of, I guess, you still owe or you haven't paid for your lunch in 4 days, that you will be given an alternative lunch. Once you reach the cafeteria for lunch, you should stay in your line and sit at your appropriate table. During lunch, you can socialize with students at your own table. We do not hop from table to talk to this person and that person. Every week, teachers have been asked to get someone to clean the tables and sweep the floors. So you may be asked to participate in that a week at a time, to wash your lunch table or to sweep up under your table. And another thing is to be sure that if you need to move your seat or go get something from the lunch line, that you are speaking to your teachers to obtain permission. Make sure that at lunch that you are throwing away all of your trash. And remember, we talked about for breakfast, making sure that if you purchase something for, say, chips or ice cream, that is eaten all in the cafeteria. We're not taking items from the cafeteria for breakfast or for lunch. Class change expectations. You have approximately 3 minutes between classes. We should walk on the right side of the hallway. That way the halls stay free of congestion. When it is time to change classes, you should move quickly. You know, there's the hellos and goodbyes, and it should be a quick process. There should not be any congregating in the halls. And one thing that we do need to talk about is in the morning at our Bulldog change, right at the 7th grade hallway or B hallway, students, we need everybody to keep moving. I understand that there's an art class standing there, and there is 6th and 7th graders trying to get to their classes, as well as 8th graders trying to come upstairs to their classes, but that is a big area that we do need to keep moving. And again, will teachers will escort students to and from all classes. End of day dismissal. The bell rings at 3:30. Car riders will exit out on the B hallway near the art room. Students, you are to remain in the loop, not walk up to the corner to get in a car or cross the street. And the reason is to keep you safe from somebody just flying down the street. So when someone comes to pick you up, you should be in the loop, and they come pull in the loop to pick you up. If you are still here after all the buses have left and no one has picked you up at that point, you need to report to the main office, and at that time we can make phone calls if we need to. For bus riders, you need to report to the front of the school to catch the bus. Keep in mind that sometimes your buses can be in different orders, so you need to look for your bus numbers. If your bus happens not to be here, we will stand near the benches in the front of the school and wait for the bus to come. What we want to refrain from is the socializing and congregating in certain areas in front of the school. Your buses can't leave on time, and it would be a shame to have been outside and then still miss your bus. Please be respectful of our bus drivers and their time. Athletes and clubs. If you're staying after school for any reason, you should be with an adult. So if you are an athlete, you should be with a coach. If you are here with a club, you should be with that club's advisor. Students should report to their after-school activity without going outside. This slows other students down from getting to their car rider line or to the bus. And make sure that you have communicated with your parents the time that you need to be picked up. And so below here is where your parents can sign that they've read through these operations And so that there's also a spot for you as a student to sign that we have completed this review. So we're going to turn to page 4. Attendance. Students are allowed 10 absences during the school year. 5 early dismissals and/or tardies equals 1 absence. More than 10 absences, whether excused or unexcused, will put the student's promotion to the next grade at risk. Now, under extenuating circumstances, if you by any chance are extremely ill, have to be out for more than those 10 days, waivers are possible, but what we would encourage you to do is to be here at school every day. There will possibly be opportunities to make up time for extenuating absences, but one thing that we also need to address is having unexcused absences or not bringing in notes can also land you on the probation list where you cannot participate in certain events. So it is imperative or very important that you bring in your absence note whenever you are absent. And also to remind your parents that after 3 o'clock that we will not do any sign-outs. School policies and procedures. School bus transportation. School transportation service is a privilege and not a right, which means it can be taken away. Students at all times while riding a school bus or other school vehicle shall observe the directives of the bus or the vehicle driver. These rules apply while on the school vehicle and at or near the vehicle stop. The following conduct is specifically prohibited: stopping, impeding, delaying, or detaining a bus or school vehicle, disturbing the peace, order, or discipline on a bus or school vehicle, refusing to obey the driver's instructions, refusing to meet the bus at the designated stop, tampering with or willfully damaging the bus or school vehicle, getting off a bus at an unauthorized stop, distracting the driver's attention by participating in disruptive behavior while the vehicle is in operation. And that's usually the one that gets students referred to the office. And I'll say it again: distracting the driver's attention by participating in disruptive behavior while the vehicle is in operation. This means that you need to have your seat to the seat and your back to the back on the bus. It does not mean that we are being loud or moving around on the bus unless it is time for you to get off. Failing to observe established safety rules and regulations, willfully trespassing upon a school bus or school vehicle, fighting, smoking, using profanity, possession or using drugs or intoxicating beverages, or otherwise violating any other board policy or school rule while on a school bus or other school vehicle, any other behavior that endangers lives or property. Now, students, if you are being dismissed from school early, your parent or guardian must come into the office and sign you out. We have that computer system up front in the office that parents use to sign students out. Parents will wait for you in the office, and then someone will call you to come up to the office when your parent is there to pick you up. Now, this basically means that even if your parent says, well, I'm going to come and pick you up at this time, you need to still wait for someone to call you from the office to be sure that your parents are actually here to pick you up. That under no circumstances is a student to leave campus before coming to the office. Late arrivals and early checkouts will be marked as tardy, even if you return to school. 5 tardies equals 1 day's absence for attendance purposes. And again, students are not to be signed out after 3 o'clock. Visitors in the building, and students, we need to be careful about this. There will be people possibly that may come to various doors here at school. It doesn't matter if you know who this person is personally at all. We do not open doors for any visitors. You can tell them through the door that they need to report to the office, but we do not open any doors for anybody unless you are standing in the office and you've been given permission to open the door. All parents or visitors must report directly to the office. Parents and visitors must obtain a visitor's identification name tag before visiting any classroom area in the building. All visitors will sign in and out. Telephone. Students, the telephone in the classrooms and in the office is for emergencies only. It is not to be used because this person is having a get-together or something and I need to call my mom and ask her if I can go. That is not what the telephone is for. In the event that you are an athlete and there are games that are canceled, that constitutes an emergency and asking to use the phone. And understand that being able to use the phone is at the discretion of your teacher, principal, and office staff. So it's a possibility that you will hear the word no. Students are to use the classroom phone and should not be sent to the office to make phone calls unless, especially if you have a long distance number, because that will be the only place that you can make the phone call. Lockers and book bags. Since we do have the computers, there's not many lockers that are issued, but if you are wanting a locker, you would need to speak to your homeroom teacher. If you get a locker, the cost for a lock is $3. And once they have issued you a locker, they can send that information to me for me to issue you a lock once you have purchased the lock for $3. One thing to keep note, student lockers are the property of Iredell Statesville Schools. The principal or assistant principal with reasonable suspicion may search a student, their personal possession, their locker and or book bag without prior notice to the student. Periodic general inspections of lockers may be conducted by school authorities for any reason at any time. Lockers are provided for the convenience of students but are not required. Each student is responsible for the contents of his or her assigned locker. Students are required to keep lockers closed and locked when not in use. Students are required to rent a combination lock for $3. This lock will be returned to the school at the end of the year. If the lock is lost, the student will be required to pay for a replacement. Students must go to their lockers at designated times only. Medication. Medication will be kept and dispensed by the school nurse. And students, this is not like Tylenol or ibuprofen or something that you can get over the counter. This would be prescribed medication that the doctor has said that you need to take while here at school. So there will not be an adult that will dispense anything like Tylenol or ibuprofen. All prescription medication must be brought to the school by a parent or guardian and given to the nurse with a doctor's note. School personnel are not allowed to dispense any over-the-counter medication, even with your parents' permission. Cafeteria and child nutrition. Students may purchase breakfast and lunch in the cafeteria each day or bring their lunch from home. Free and reduced price meals are available to students who meet the requirements. Application forms, and not necessarily application forms anymore, but it is now an online process to apply for free and reduced lunch. Breakfast is $1.40 and lunch is $2.75. Milk is included in the lunch price. Supplemental items may be purchased with the meal. Some of these supplemental items can cost up to $1.85 individually. Students owing lunch fees in the cafeteria for more than 4 days will be given an alternative lunch. And it could be a cheese sandwich, as it says. It could be ham and cheese. You just never know until your account is paid current. There is also a lunch prepay that you can talk to your parents about that will allow them to pay online for lunch. You can bring in the money and hand it directly to the lunch ladies in the morning. So what we will go down next is to grades and our grading scale. 0 to 59 is a failing grade, 60 to 69 is a D, 70 to 79 is a C, 80 to 89 is a B, and 90 to 100 is an A. Your progress reports, and listed there are going to be the dates in which that you get your progress reports. For first quarter is September 25th, second quarter is December 5th, third quarter is February the 26th, and fourth quarter is going to be on May 7th. Students, each of your teachers will print out a progress report for their class, and it is your responsibility to take those progress reports home and let your parents see each one.
There's a facility in Powell that's right at the dock of at the bottom of the cafeteria, right in front of the cafeteria parking lot, in the back parking lot. Please move your car to another parking space. They're trying to now deliver the item. Thank you.
And so your parents also have an opportunity to check your grades through PowerSchool, and you have that same opportunity to keep and stay on top of your grades by checking in PowerSchool as well. Your report cards. Your report cards will be issued from the office, and it will have a list of all of your classes. Your report card dates for the first quarter are November 6th, second quarter January 29th, third quarter April 4th, and fourth quarter is on June 7th. And we are now on page 6. Academic probation. Students who are failing 2 or more subjects at report card time will be automatically placed on academic probation. These students may be placed in remediation classes during Bulldog time. Students placed on academic probation may not be permitted to participate or attend any school extracurricular activities. Okay, so basically this means, students, that we need to make sure that you are getting your work completed, turned in on time, or as close to be on time as you can be, as well as paying attention in class and doing what your teachers are asking you to do. The probation list. If a student is placed on the probation list, they will not be allowed to attend or participate in any extracurricular activities, and that could be sports, dances, clubs, etc., or any school or grade level reward programs, pet rallies, block parties, fun day, field day, etc., until they are removed from the list. Students failing 2 or more subjects. Students that may receive an office referral regardless of the consequence during the qualification period, or excessive disciplinary actions. And that could be out-of-school suspensions, or you've been given assignments of ISS of 3 or more. Failure to pay fees, and that could be technology usage fee, damage fees, cafeteria fees, etc., in a timely manner prior to the past due date, will be placed on a probation list. Students can be removed from the list once fees are paid, or satisfactory behavior is exhibited, or adequate academic progress has been made. Bulldog time. And right now you are in Bulldog time. All Bulldog time classes will have an academic focus and will meet daily before first period. Students who are not in need of remediation will be able to select a special Bulldog time, and it could be band, chorus, chess, yearbook, battle of the books, robotics, etc. Students in need of remediation will be placed in a math or reading focused Bulldog class. Grades will be given for this time period that you are in class. So we want you to understand that your attendance is important. And so along with Bulldog time, there will be times in which, based on your iReady diagnostic scores, that you could be moved from a Bulldog class. So it is always best for you to do your best in Bulldog class. Promotion or retention policy. Students must pass at least 3 or 4 academic classes, and that's math, science, language arts, and social studies, in order to be promoted to the next grade level. Parents will be notified by a teacher if you are in danger of being retained. Physical education. Students will need to purchase a PE uniform, and that's a t-shirt and shorts. The price is approximately $15 for both sets. You may wear a uniform if you already have one that you bought from a previous year. It is required for students to dress for PE. Now, your planner, and everybody has their planners with them. You have been given this planner as basically a freebie to begin the school year. And I want you to understand how important it is. This is your passes each week to go to the bathroom, to the media center, and various places that you need to go, as well as it is meant to help you stay organized by writing down assignments. If you misplace your agenda, it will be $5 for a replacement, and you will need to keep up with it or buy a replacement to be able to continue to go to the bathroom, the media center, and the other places that you would like to go to. SAP, Student Assistance Program. A core team of faculty members are available to help counsel students through various student problems and difficulties. Students may self-refer or be recommended by a parent or teacher. Our SAP coordinator, who is Ms. Brinskill, conducts and schedules counseling groups throughout the school year dealing with anger management, self-esteem, grief, friendships, etc. On page 7 at the top, school-wide cleanliness. Make sure that you're putting trash in the appropriate trash container. And we've already had a discussion about eating all over the building. Students, we shouldn't be walking through the hallways eating. We shouldn't be in classroom eating unless you've been given permission by your teacher and there is some type of reward that your class is partaking in. If the restroom needs attention, no soap, no paper towels, make sure that you let your teachers know, or if you're coming past the office, to let anyone in the office know so that we can take care of it for you. There should be no eating or drinking in the classrooms. Make sure that you put paper, plastic bottles, glass bottles, and cans in the recycling bins, and those are the green ones. It is not for orange peels or anything that is not recyclable. That goes in the trash can. Statesville Middle School student dress code. SMS is a school where excellence is an expectation in all we do and who we are. To achieve excellence in appearance, we expect our students to be dressed for an academic atmosphere of purposeful learning and responsible citizenship. These guidelines will help students make good choices about what to wear so that parents don't need to be called to the school. General guidelines. All clothing must be worn in an appropriate and tasteful manner and as originally intended by the designer. For example, headbands are not to be worn around the neck. Shirts must be buttoned so chest or t-shirts are not exposed. Shoes must be fastened or tied. Clothes may not be inside out or backward and must stay up or on independently. Extremely loose or big clothes like XXL t-shirts, sagging pants, or extremely tight or small clothes are not permitted. Abusive or suggestive or profane language, symbols of illegal substances, or any other words, symbols, or slogans that disrupt the learning environment may not be worn on clothing or as jewelry. Students are required to wear shoes at all times for health and safety reasons. Hats. There should not be any hats or headgear. This also means hood. So when you enter into the building, you should remove your hood. There are no scarves, bandanas, do-rags, toboggans worn in the building. Hoods from hoodies should be removed from your head as you enter the building, as I said. Tops and shirts. Shirts must be fingertip length or shorter. No oversized shirts allowed. Shirts should not expose the stomach, torso, or shoulders. Be low cut in front, back, or sides. Be excessively tight or see-through. Expose lingerie or underwear. Shirts must contain sleeves that cover the shoulder and underarm. Tank tops and spaghetti straps are not allowed. There should be no visible cleavage. Shirts should not contain any logos or graphics containing inappropriate symbols, words, pictures, or articles depicting violence, tobacco, drugs, alcohol, sex, vulgarity, demeaning to race or gang related. Bottoms. All pants, shorts, skirts must be clean. No rips, tears, and holes above the knee allowed. So for students, if you have the jeans or shorts that have the rips above the knees, you should have on leggings or some shorts or something up under those to cover up those rips or tears in the jeans. Shorts, including skirts, and dresses must fall to a maximum of 3 inches above the middle of the kneecap. Leggings, jeggings, or tights are only allowed if worn under skirts, dresses, or shorts that are already meet the 3-inch rule. All bottom wear must be worn at the waist. Belts are not required unless the student allows the bottoms to drop below the waist. No oversized pants are allowed. Pants worn below the waist or showing clothing or underwear beneath the main outerwear. Girls' low-rider pants that reveal skin are not acceptable. No sagging pants with the crotch closer to the knees than it is intended location. Pants must stay up without assistance. If you have to hold the waistband while walking to keep your pants on, your pants don't fit. No pajamas or pajama pants, no sweatpants. Now, students, we're going to stop right here where it says shoes, and we're going to go through those real quickly. The bell should be ringing shortly for you to report to your first period class. Shoes. There should be no flip-flops. Regardless of the thickness of the sole or the amount of decoration, there should be no shower or spa shoes, bedroom shoes or slippers, slides, or high heels. Your shoes have to have a back strap on them, so if you have sandals with a back strap, that is appropriate. And as it says, over the course of the school year, SMS may determine that new fads and modes of dress are disruptive to a safe and orderly learning environment, and the dress code may be adjusted accordingly. Now, we do have some items on hand in case of emergencies, that you may borrow a t-shirt or item here at school in case, you know, something spills on your shirt and you need it replaced. And it says we can't guarantee that you'll like what we have available or that we'll have something in your size. We also have personal hygiene items available on request in the main office. So students, I hope everyone has had a wonderful start to the school year, and we will come back tomorrow and complete the rest of the handbook. Statesville Middle, have a good day.